Why is the narcissist so scared when he sees an empath angry? We've all heard about the intricate, often painful, dance between a narcissist and an empath. We understand how the empath's boundless capacity for giving can become a never-ending wellspring for the narcissist's insatiable need for supply. But there's a moment in this dynamic that often confounds those caught in its grip, a pivotal shift that reveals a hidden vulnerability in the seemingly impenetrable armor of the narcissist. The moment an empath, pushed beyond their limits, finally gets angry. It's a terrifying sight for the empath themselves, who rarely experiences such intense emotion and often deeply unsettling for onlookers. But what most people don't realize is that for the narcissist, this moment can be profoundly, utterly, and chillingly terrifying. Why would the powerful, controlling narcissist, who thrives on dominance and manipulation, suddenly recoil in fear when the usually gentle empath unleashes their righteous indignation? It seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? Yet, it reveals a fundamental truth about the narcissist's fragile inner world. Today, we're going to delve deep into this psychological paradox, unraveling the hidden fears and psychological mechanisms that cause a narcissist to tremble when faced with the authentic anger of an empath. Understanding this dynamic is not just fascinating, it's a crucial key to recognizing your own power, setting boundaries, and ultimately finding your way out of the bewildering labyrinth of a narcissistic relationship. Prepare to see this familiar dynamic through a new, enlightening lens. To truly grasp why an empath's anger strikes such a deep chord of fear in a narcissist, we must first revisit the foundational understanding of what drives a narcissist. Beneath their glittering facade of grandiosity, confidence, and superiority lies an abysmal void, a hollow core of profound insecurity and a pervasive sense of inadequacy. This isn't just a slight lack of self-esteem, it's a fundamental absence of an authentic, stable self. They do not possess a well-integrated identity built on genuine self-worth. Instead, their entire existence is precariously balanced on the external validation they extract from others. This is their lifeblood, their narcissistic supply. Without it, they face the terrifying prospect of collapsing into the profound shame and emptiness they constantly run from. Now consider the empath. The empath is a person brimming with genuine emotion, profound connection, and an innate desire for fairness and justice. They are givers, listeners, healers. They will tolerate an immense amount of disrespect, misunderstanding, and emotional draining before they reach their breaking point. Their anger is not quick, impulsive, or petty. It is a slow burn, meticulously accumulated as boundaries are violated, trust is shattered, and their spirit is systematically eroded. When an empath finally expresses anger, it is often a primal, raw, and authentic expression of a soul pushed beyond all reasonable limits. It is a declaration that the line has not just been crossed, but obliterated. So, when this authentic, righteous anger, emanating from a person who typically embodies calm and compassion, is directed at a narcissist, several critical and terrifying psychological alarms go off in the narcissist's mind. Firstly, and perhaps most fundamentally, the angry empath represents a complete withdrawal of supply. Remember, the narcissist relies on external validation like a drug. They need your admiration, your pity, your attention. Even your negative attention is better than none. But an angry empath is no longer interested in giving supply. They are no longer focused on accommodating, understanding, or forgiving. Instead, their energy is consumed by their own righteous indignation. Their focus entirely shifted away from feeding the narcissist's ego. This sudden cessation of supply feels to the narcissist like a life-threatening famine. It activates their deepest fears of abandonment, of being cast aside and left to face their own terrifying emptiness. In their mind, the empath's anger is a flashing sign that the well is dry. My source is gone. I am in danger of being exposed and abandoned. Secondly, the empath's anger poses a direct threat to the narcissist's meticulously constructed false self. The narcissist has built an elaborate illusion of perfection, superiority, and moral infallibility. They project an image that is charming, successful, and always right. The empath, through their unwavering compassion, has often unknowingly helped to maintain this illusion. But when the empath gets angry, that anger carries an undeniable truth. It's often precise, articulate, and points directly to the narcissist's manipulative behaviors, their lies, their cruelties, and their fundamental lack of empathy. It's like a spotlight suddenly shining on the cracks in their facade. This is terrifying because it means their true, ugly self, the self they desperately hide even from themselves, is being mirrored back to them. They fear being seen for who they really are, insecure, empty, and deeply flawed. The empath's anger, unlike the reactive outbursts of others, is often rooted in a clear moral stance, which directly challenges the narcissist's self-perception of being above reproach. Thirdly, an angry empath signifies a complete loss of control for the narcissist. Control is paramount for a narcissist. They orchestrate their relationships like a puppet master, pulling strings to get the reactions they desire. They thrive on predictability and on knowing they can manipulate your emotions and your perception of reality. The empath, by expressing raw, unfiltered anger, breaks free from this control. They are no longer compliant, no longer easily gaslit, no longer willing to tolerate disrespect. This unpredictable, autonomous emotional outburst sends shockwaves through the narcissist system. It tells them, "I no longer control you. You are breaking free from my grasp." For a narcissist, this loss of control is akin to losing their very footing in the world, plummeting them into a state of intense panic. They rely on your predictability to maintain their own sense of stability, and your anger shatters that. Fourthly, the empath's anger brings with it the terrifying prospect of exposure. Narcissists operate in the shadows, relying on secrecy and carefully managed public perception. They excel at presenting one face to the world and another, far uglier one. Behind closed doors, an angry empath, especially one who has reached their breaking point, might finally be willing to break that silence. They might reveal the truth to others, or even worse, their anger might attract the attention of others who will then start to see the narcissist for who they truly are. This fear of being unmasked, of having their carefully crafted image shattered in the eyes of others, is a nightmare for the narcissist. They constantly live with the anxiety that their true nature will be revealed, and the empath's anger can be the catalyst for that ultimate dread. Furthermore, the empath's anger often carries a profound moral weight. Empaths typically operate from a strong moral compass, seeking fairness, justice, and kindness. When an empath expresses anger, it is often a response to a deep injustice, a violation of fundamental human decency. This moral authority is something the narcissist utterly lacks and therefore fears. The narcissist has no true internal moral compass. Their actions are dictated by self-interest and the pursuit of supply. So, when confronted by the moral outrage of an empath, it highlights their own moral deficit, their own profound emptiness in that regard. This confrontation with genuine morality is profoundly uncomfortable and threatening to their self-perception as superior beings. Consider also the energetic shift an angry empath embodies. An empath is typically a reservoir of calm, understanding energy. They are the ones who absorb, soothe, and heal. When this gentle, nurturing energy suddenly transforms into a furious, defensive stance, the sheer intensity of the shift is unnerving to the narcissist. They are accustomed to your softness, your vulnerability, your willingness to endure. When that changes into a formidable wall of anger, it represents a profound and unexpected power dynamic shift. The narcissist suddenly feels the full force of a powerful energy they thought they had tamed and controlled. It's like a gentle river suddenly turning into a raging torrent, completely overwhelming their expectations and sense of security. Finally, at a deeper, almost primal level, the narcissist fears the empath's anger because it represents a rejection of their illusion of specialness. The narcissist believes they are entitled to special treatment, boundless admiration, and unwavering loyalty. They expect to be able to manipulate and exploit others without consequence. When the empath, who has given so much, finally reaches a breaking point and expresses anger, it is a stark declaration that the narcissist is not special, not above consequences, and not entitled to abuse. This rejection of their core belief is a devastating blow to their fragile ego, triggering intense shame and narcissistic injury. They are forced to confront, if only momentarily, that their grandiosity is a lie, and that they are not truly as powerful or as adored as they desperately need to believe. This profound fear often manifests in different ways from the narcissist. They might immediately become defensive, lashing out with more gaslighting, blame, or insults, trying desperately to regain control and re-establish their superiority. They might play the victim, trying to evoke pity and guilt from the empath, aiming to extinguish the anger and revert to the familiar dynamic. Or, in some cases, they might even appear genuinely shocked and scared, briefly revealing the terrified, vulnerable child hidden beneath the grandiose mask. This brief glimpse of their true fear can be both validating and unsettling for the empath. So for those of you who have experienced the confusing and powerful moment when your anger finally erupted, know this: your anger is not a flaw. It is a profound signal of self-preservation. It is your soul screaming for justice, for recognition, for an end to the abuse. And the narcissist's fear is not just a reaction to your emotional intensity. It is a deeply rooted fear of losing their essential supply, having their false self exposed, losing their precious control, and facing the terrifying truth of their own inner emptiness. Understanding this dynamic is crucial because it highlights where your true power lies. Your anger, when expressed authentically and strategically, can be a potent tool for setting boundaries and reclaiming your autonomy. It's not about manipulating the narcissist. It's about recognizing that your capacity for righteous anger is a vital self-protective mechanism. It's a sign that you are reaching your limit and that it is time to prioritize your own well-being. Your empathy is a beautiful gift, but it must be protected and wisely distributed. Knowing that your anger can strike fear into the heart of a narcissist isn't about fueling vengeance. It's about empowerment. It's about realizing that you are not powerless, that your emotional truth holds immense weight, and that your path to healing often begins the moment you reclaim that truth. Use this understanding not as a weapon, but as a compass, guiding you towards relationships built on genuine respect, reciprocity, and love, where your beautiful empathic heart can truly flourish without fear.